It's A7FL in motion. I'm Matt Ryan, and this week is the A7FL showdown in the desert. The 8 have gone down to 4, and in this half hour, we will give you all the updates on what will happen. Here is how we walked into this past Sunday with our final 8 teams, and now, here on A7FL in motion, we'll give you the highlights and we'll preview a wild day, one of the wildest days in the A7FL. But before anything, we go out west. The Sickwidit battled the Stealth. Sickwidit and Stealth. Sickwidit strike first in the second quarter. A scoreless first would see Marcus Betts in the second, and then Darren Palmer getting both feet in, putting his jersey number on the scoreboard, making it 8-0 Sickwidit. Later on in the drive, Iquan Corsi behind Fox. That's De'Aaron Fox, the former Force quarterback, starting in this game over Kenyon Stone King, but then it'd be Corsi running it in, making it a 14-0 lead as the Silver State Stealth found themselves on the back foot. But the Stealth defense on the extra point, those championship points matter. They stop Palmer at the goal line, and it would be 14-0. But on the 3-on-1 return following the violation, the dead ball run, this young man, number 45. This is the problem Sickwidit has had. They have found trouble on the 3-on-1 returns against some teams, and the Stealth exploits that and makes it 14-6. And if you're watching this right now and you're the Trenton BIC, if you're a Shante Worthy, Kason Campbell, anybody, even a Mark Bagway this Sunday, we'll explain a little bit more later, but if you're the BIC, you are looking at special teams unit down very hard. And here we see Iquan Corsi in at quarterback now for Sickwidit, up 14-6. The handoff to one of the Houston brothers. That's Devin Houston running it in, increasing the lead, making it a 2-score game once again. And then Corsi back in at quarterback for Fox. Corsi on his bicycle, slips, slides, finds his target, and that one would increase the lead, as that would be number 23, Marcus Betts, getting the extra point. 1 touchdown to start the game and give him a bit of distance, but the Stealth, we missed the 3-on-1, and so did the Sickwidit defense. Another 3-on-1 return. That is what kept the Stealth in this game against Sickwidit. It was their ability to score on the 3-on-1, utilizing that speed. If you are the Trenton BIC, you are checking the game tape for every Sickwidit return ahead of this Sunday in the heat in Las Vegas, and we'll break down the BIC and the Renegades a little bit later on in the broadcast. But Sickwidit have punched their ticket to stay home, but they will be the lower seed team. Sickwidit moving on 34-18 as the Stealth go fishing after their first season here in the A7FL. Donye Lions returning a football for the Las Vegas Insomniacs. If you've never seen this before, well, strap in, kids. It's the gold in the Insomniacs as we finalize the Western representatives in the showdown in the desert. And Donye Lions just making it look seamless, making it look easy. Slip, slide, welcome back, young man. 6-0 before a second ticks off the clock. The Insomniacs wearing the 98 Bulls red, looking for the three-peat. They go up 6-0, and the boys are ready. They have reloaded. And the gold on offense. Jeremiah Reeves in trouble. Prime time. Slip slides 12-0. Hits the old Johnny Russo on him. Took a little while. The third time was the charm. Why is that child shirtless? It's 12-0 Insomniacs. And if you're Silk City right now, we'll explain why later. That replay just caught it like he was the intended receiver. It was like Jerry Reeves stepped up and saw, you know what? I'm going to get Prime a highlight. And that one right there. There's that child again. Who it's like the child on the escalator in Mallrats. Where did he come from? But Scooter Hamilton in on offense and just effortless. He keeps it. He avoids the sack, and this is why they call him the forklift. There's the toss back, slip, slide, and it's elementary. My dear Watson, touchdown. Insomniacs. We're not even halfway through the first quarter, and they are up 20-0. What a machine this Insomniacs team is on offense, defense, special teams. You see him run in the touchdown one more time. But will they be able to do that this Sunday, going for the extra point? Making it look easy. Davik Clark making the catch as he returns. So many options for the Insomniacs on offense. It is going to be a long day in the desert, not as long as it felt for the Vegas Gold. Up top, chicken box, bing bong, touchdown Insomniacs. He likes to say his friends are just better, and they find the camera one more time. The Insomniacs continue their emphatic year. Eric Schufer Jr. has been saying it for the last 2 seasons, and now they're trying to bear fruit. Reeves, though, tosses it. They get the catch, and they get the moral victory of a touchdown. I wouldn't be doing the taunt there when you're down 50-6. But here, this is the final play, the defining play, and the story of the Insomniacs these three past seasons. Destruction, decimation, and an early day at the office. They walk into this Sunday with a 68-6 win over the Gold. When we return, we'll have highlights from out east, an updated bracket, and more as A7FL is in motion. Welcome back to our look at the A7FL's second round of playoff action, as it's the Trenton BIC battling the East Orange Renegades in Asbury Park in a major rematch. It would take until the midway point of the first quarter. Sterry Codrington tossing it back to Trey Robinson. A faithful bobble finds it into the hands of Ashante Worthy. They make it 6-0. The extra point Sterry Codrington would run in. The last time these two teams played championship points played a big role, but so did Anthony Service as he runs it in to make it 7-6. Later on in the second quarter, going for the extra point. Service will run it in the same way he did the tutty to make it 7-7 with a lot of time left in the first half. And folks, this game would get to a boiling point. Codrington underneath to Kason Campbell, peeling Damon Small off him and then turning on the afterburners to give them a 13-7 lead. Him and Ashante Worthy, and there's the legendary Matt Riddick, 3 of the fastest and best to ever catch a football in this league on the same offense. But don't worry, we've got more. Let's take a look at the replay again. Codrington and Kason Campbell have been lighting the scoreboard up this year. And Kason Campbell with this touchdown. In terms of reception yards, he set records in this game, but he has stood out as a singular weapon, a singular asset on a team of stars this year. He might be my pick for MVP, but Service going right up to Campbell, making it 13-13. Under a minute left to go in the half. Service from the 45 somehow gets this over to Gerald, the man with the wrench, finding a way to untighten the BIC defense and give the Renegades the lead. But Young Bulls do not want to be this energetic, but this BIC defense, watch again. Service from the 45 finds it and gets it over Sterry Codrington. That one, Codrington was trying to track the ball, but a perfect throw to give them the 19-13 lead. And then Kyle Ward, the biggest impact player you could say on this Renegades team, gets it 19-13. And we see here Sterry Codrington throwing that quick screen to Matt Riddick. Meep himself did not get the touchdown, but got them close, got them right here with 33 seconds left to go. Down 19-13, Codrington one more time runs it in to tie the game up at 19 apiece with 30 seconds left to go in the half. Codrington trying to find a way to command this BIC offense the same way Will Franklin commands that giant hat. But watch again, Codrington finding the seam and slipping right in. And then the extra point. Because the championship points in this game matter. Mark Bagway, his first time scoring points in a BIC uniform, makes it 19-20. Matt Riddick and Mark Bagway on the same team. But Service and Rankowski don't care about the stars. They care about the dub in the third quarter, just under a third into it. Take the lead back 25-20. Codrington tosses it back to Bagway. Bagway throws this one right into the hands of Kason Campbell. Campbell gets into the end zone, takes a nap, and takes a 1-point lead. Do not sleep on this Renegades team, though. They get it back. The two-pointer Kyle Ward increases the lead as he tries to be the BIC killer. Later on, Bagway gets the ball from Codrington, and Mark Bagway has bulked up, but he is still one of the hardest runners in the A7FL with 1:51 left to go in the game. They're down by 1, but there is a ball that pops out. Ole Bell on one of the most controversial plays in A7FL history, but Bagway to Worthy to history. 33-32. No, sir. Ashante Worthy puts 6 on the board for the BIC as they punch their ticket to Vegas. Controversial strip sack leads to a controversial touchdown in the most controversial end zone in the history of football. The Trenton BIC punched their ticket to a date with Sickwidit this Sunday. And again, Bagway to Ashante Worthy. Words I never thought I would say in my 6 years in the A7FL as they set up to play Sickwidit out in the desert. What a catch, what a play, the BIC with the win. Watchmen, Animals, who moves on next? This Sunday, it's do or die in the desert in a showdown on the strip as the A7FL playoffs are down to 4. Watch as defending back-to-back national champion Las Vegas Insomniacs aim to go to their 3rd straight title game as they battle the Silk City Animals. The Trenton BIC's quest for redemption and an undefeated season takes them out west as they battle Sickwidit to send the championship game out east. Don't miss a moment of the action live this Sunday, beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Welcome back to A7FL in Motion. 3 teams have been decided for our showdown in the desert. But who will fill up the final spot? It's the Animals and the Watchmen. Let's go. Who is the final team in the Final 4? We find out here as the Silk City Animals pick off OG Buck, and they see Robert Long slip, slide, and take this one to the house as the Silk City Animals have a 6-0 lead to open up this showdown in Asbury Park. The 3rd straight year these two teams have played in the playoffs. The Watchmen have gotten the first 2. Silk City looking to get the momentum and move on to Vegas. Later on in the first, though, snags Sosa, pushing, flying, and prying his way into the end zone, making it 6-6. Watch this as Baltimore ties it up on the replay. Just the determination just takes a licking and keeps on ticking. 6-6, the extra point would not go. 4th down, big opportunity. Baltimore would keep it alive, but would not get the first down. That was Antoine Matthews, but Wingo on this one. Gets it to the 40, gets taken out at the 50, but keeps the drive alive. Tender makes the throw. IG Live gets the first down and finds a way to the 5. Would get brought down at the 3. First down, Animals, and then Tender, not deterred, gets it back to Gonzalez to take the lead back 12-6. Tender's first playoff touchdown this year after sitting out last week, but the humble beast runs it in to take it back to tie. And then no extra point. but the extra effort gets Baltimore back into the end zone and gives them an 18-12 lead. The backstack, the toss from Buck to Gauze, boogieing it into the end zone and getting it in there with 10 seconds left to go in the half. 19-12 your score. Third quarter now. Stepping up. That is another opportunity for Antoine Matthews. The man known as Super Saiyan gets the power level over 9,000 and increases Baltimore's lead with Ace Boogie John Gauze behind center. Two veterans who are looking for another chance at an A7FL championship. And then on the extra point, Buck gets it over to the man known as Ace Boogie, but they give him the extra point, that one getting over to Beefy, and it is a beefy lead for the Baltimore Watchmen midway through the third. And you see OG Buck and Ace Boogie giving each other well-due props, but you gotta give props to David Tender and Manny Diaz linking up one more time to make it 26-18 early in the fourth quarter. Diaz always finding a way to get involved in big games. The toss on the extra point to make it a 6-point game could not get there. It remains 26-8. You can see the disappointment and frustration on the faces of Diaz and Tender. Tender taking the fault for it after the game. Tender taking the blame on not being mentally prepared. If the Animals got out of this one or get out of this one alive, they're going to have to face the Insomniacs and a defense that is prowling. David Tender will need to be at his very best if they walk out of here. John Gauze in trouble. The toss, and it's picked up and stolen by Trey Baskerville. Baskerville does it and hounds his way to the end zone, trying to get the Animals back within whisper distance. Baskerville takes it to the house and makes it just so much closer. 26-24 on the extra point. Tender steps up and he gets it there. Somehow, someway, Kasim Perry makes the catch and ties this one up. We go to overtime on fourth down. They couldn't knock on the door the first 3 times, and the Animals defense swats it away and keeps them in it. And then Robert Long stepping up, the defensive MVP along with Baskerville, but David Tender tosses it back to Perry, and Perry parries into the end zone. And for the first time ever, the Silk City Animals are one game away from the A7FL championship and fly out to Vegas to take on the defending national champions, the team that was winless 3 years ago, much like the Insomniacs faced. And here is where we stand heading into Pinecrest Academy this Sunday. The Insomniacs will welcome the Silk City Animals, and the Trenton BIC will travel across the country for the first time to face off against Sickwidit. But when you look at this game, the Silk City Animals defense stepped up huge multiple times. 2 defensive touchdowns, one coming from Robert Long, the other coming from Trey Baskerville. If you are the Insomniacs right now, if they're able to stop Marcellus Pack on a 6, what will happen against Davik Clark, Danye Lyons? Or what will happen against RTC Wilkerson, Juice, and this defense? When we return here on A7FL InMotion, we will get you prepared for our Final Four. We will take a look at both games and the players you need to watch out for. But is this the end of the era for the Baltimore Watchmen? Is this the end of the 2-quarterback system in Baltimore? How does this loss affect the DMV? We'll try to get into that a little bit more next week, but when we return as the sun sets in Baltimore, it's gonna rise in the desert. We get you ready for Sickwidit BIC and the Insomniacs and the Animals when we return as the sun sets on this edition of A7FL InMotion. Welcome back to A7FL in Motion. I'm Matt Ryan, and folks, this Sunday, we decide who will be playing in the A7FL Championship out in Vegas. The first game will be the Insomniacs and the Animals. And rightfully, the Las Vegas Insomniacs are the favorites in that game. Scott Hamilton coming off another stellar season, and the weapons, Davik Clark, Danye Lyons. They add Shannon Allen on offense, and then you have Eric Schufert, who's a perennial MVP candidate. You have so many weapons at wide receiver, and then you go deeper into running back. You have the bowling ball, who's been there, Mouth McWilliams, who's been there since the very beginning of this run 2 seasons ago. You have RTC Wilkerson, who was the spark out in Vegas that really lit that division aflame when he was on the Vegas Force. Now, as a leader on this Insomniacs team, looking for his 3rd straight A7FL championship appearance in 4 seasons, and also looking for his 3rd straight title ring. But on the other side of that is an Animals team that reminds me a lot of that first-year Insomniacs team, that 2023 Las Vegas Insomniacs team that blew the doors off of everything. A year ago, the Animals were trying to figure it out and building off of a 3 to 4 player base. Now they have answers at defense, which was their biggest liability. They have Kwani Morgan to return footballs. They have Omari Thomas to spare him in the backfield. They have Wingo and Manny Diaz catching the ball. Trey Baskerville on defense and Robert Long have been revelations, standouts on that team, and they've continued to get better. But this Sunday, this is going to be the toughest test they may have had in the A7FL. Conversely, the team that gave them the most trouble over the last 2 seasons, the Trenton BIC, joined them on that flight to Vegas to play Sickwidit. Now, Sickwidit has stood firm at the top of the Vegas division, right underneath the Insomniacs, even winning the division a season ago, giving the Insomniacs their only loss since 2022. They have weapons. Siobhan Richardson and Darren Palmer are 2 of the best utility players in the league. But if Jeremy Geary's stepping out onto the field, they have a chance. But if it's Fox, if it's Kenyon Stone King, if it's any number of options, including Iquan Corsi, they're going to be in for a long day against a BIC defense looking to prove itself, especially the man that's going to be playing quarterback for the Trenton BIC, Sterry Codrington. After staring near defeat in the face against a Renegades team he knows they've beaten, and it was down to the wire before, the Trenton BIC have more pressure on them, I believe, this Sunday than any team outside of the Las Vegas Insomniacs. The pressure is on them to hold up their end of the bargain and bring the championship back out east. Can Sickwidit seize on that opportunity in their time zone, in a town that they call home? Is this Sickwidit's chance to upset the apple cart and change A7FL history? We're going to find that out this Sunday. But there are a lot of questions that have yet to be answered, and to be honest, I'm done asking them. I'm done talking. That's it. Until the whistle blows, there are no highlights, there are no hyperbole, there is no ballyhoo. There are just 4 teams and 2 spots to fill. Will the Insomniacs take one step closer to what they think is their destiny? Will the Silk City Animals play the troll that they've been playing the last 3 years? Will the BIC go to another championship? Will Sickwidit shock the world and punch their ticket to their first chip? The time for talking is over. We see you this Sunday.